So yeah, so Ethereum, I think also like similarly to Bitcoin, I think it could line up with um, like a long idea on Bitcoin, right? So potential channel here, like maybe we're long around here if we get the pullback over the weekend. Same thing, sort of like a H1 200 EMA. I haven't actually checked if this is an MPOC, but this is a wider inval just because he sometimes fucks around. Uh, doesn't appear to be. No, no, no. Don't think there's an MPOC here, but still, it aligns with Bitcoin, right? And also, it is technically like it requires another move to like VA. I would say this is like value area low of this whole range, or it seems to be looking like it. Yeah, because I've got this green line marked out here. So yeah, this is like I still think we hit this. I believe this is point of control. So wait, let me just zoom out. I'll also zoom out because I do have like so I'm gonna really be looking for longs because I think Ethereum could potentially, if Bitcoin gets to like 67 to 72K, I think we could very easily see Ethereum trending back like near the daily 200 EMA. We didn't tap it like Bitcoin did back in May. So what I'm thinking is potentially if Bitcoin has like a strong impulse up, we could get a daily 200 EMA retest, but I don't exactly know obviously where it's gonna be. Currently, it's kind of lining up nicely with the value area high of this whole range here. So this is like one short scenario I'm looking at, but obviously it'd be like a hedge to longs, right? Um, because if we zoom out, like if we go like really high time frame, um, like really high time frame, this low here from 2025, I think at some point gets swept on Ethereum. So it's a potential move we could catch, right? If we get that daily retest, we'll see. The risk reward is good, and obviously I'm like more like leaning towards bullish locally. So it'd be nice to catch some longs up, right? To like 2K, 2.2, and then from there trade like, a hedge swing short or something like that. But, you know, I mean, it'd be more so a hedge to longs, I think, because just trading this, like obviously on the move up there, like I'd be looking for scalp longs most likely on Ethereum. So I'll be watching, right? If we reject from this like VAL here, the previous VAL, wouldn't be too good. But if we accept back in like back above there, then I'm pretty sure we get this, at least like 2.2, 2.3 area, and that's where I would try. On some bearish price action, right? If it shows, if it doesn't show, then no point just taking the short. But it's an idea I've got right now. Well, before that, like I am looking at this as like a if I was to swing long, this would be like a major TP level. This POC here. So at like 2068 essentially 2060. That's where I would probably close out a decent bit and then yeah leave the rest as like a runner or something like that. Um, so yeah, let me pop this in the chat. I think we haven't really gotten any like deep retraces yet necessarily, but you could argue like we do have like a lot of structure breaks here at the bottom, right? So this was also, I believe, like a 4-hour market structure break. So yeah, let me just zoom out. Something like this. Potentially. I need to turn the labels on. One sec. But yeah, what do you think, BT? Are you bullish or bearish? I'm seeing a lot of people shorting here, but it looks sort of. We haven't even swept like the high that we made on, I think, it Tuesday or Monday. Preparing for some bad news over a weekend. Oh, you think Trump's gonna attack? In my opinion, Ether's doing his shoulder right now. Head and shoulders? Yeah. Potentially. There are like I do have some certain bearish ideas that we could play out, but yeah. I've got a bearish idea in Sol, which I'll cover in a minute, because Sol looks, well, it's really, Sol was depressing because it was looking like the strongest out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? And I'll show you 1 second. It doesn't look that great. And of course, if you're bearish on Ethereum, right, you have to be bearish on Sol as well, right? Because they're all going to go down at the same time. I'll just put up the Sol chart for us 1 second. Like, so for example, I covered on Tuesday, right, that Sol was, like, it was already almost at the point of control versus Bitcoin and Ethereum, where they're nowhere near, like, the previous ranges point of control. Even the value rate lower on Bitcoin, we tapped it, but it was last month, right? On Sol, we almost hit the point of control there, which would have been like, I don't know, like a TP1 slash like a short level of interest. But look now, right? So arguably accepting back below H1 200 EMA, right? Very different to what like the Bitcoin and Ethereum chart looks like. And just today we had a retest of very, very low of like this range here. I didn't short it, obviously. For me personally, with my plays, I much rather like short point of controls because that's where the most volume was traded. But I see people short VALs and stuff, and it works out a lot. And of course, this was one of the times where it did. But let's see, like I was bullish in Sol, and it just like it just was pretty much had like erectile dysfunction, right? It just kind of limp dicked lower. Like Sol had to show a bit of strength here, and it just this just looks like a bearish retest right now. But I can't really at the same time, like I can't short here either. However, let's see, I'll go on the 1 hour. So, cause say like we do get some really bearish news over the weekend, we need to be hedged, right? So, it's hard to. Alright, what I would say is I'm gonna pull a fib and see whether this lines up with. It's hard to say. Honestly, I think if Bitcoin scams over the weekend, like basically liquidating some more shorts, I'll look at Sol, see what it's doing here, and maybe try to take it like a short. Something like this. Because Sol does look a little, like quite a bit weaker on the lower time frame. But obviously this isn't really a limit trade. But yeah, it doesn't really look that great. I just can't really, I would much prefer to short it. Okay, at least a little bit higher. It's still technically doing, well, it's just locally, right? It's doing higher lows, higher highs, until it's not, right? Or I guess you could argue this was, but we haven't closed below this low here. So if Bitcoin scans one more time, a little bit higher to where I marked out a level. On Sol, I took a small long at 78 to TP to 81. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm hoping it hits 81, not gonna lie. So I hope that works out. I guess if you draw it like this, it has to bounce here, otherwise it's, yeah, Sol doesn't look super strong. But we'll see. I'm just gonna wait till like see what happens. I'm hoping like if we're gonna have a move up, it's like Saturday maybe. But I think if we get that move up on Saturday, it'd be like a lower volume like scam move. So if that does happen, I'll see what Sol is doing and maybe try to short this. Money for some kebab if it works out. Yeah, bro. What? Doner kebab or which kebab? I had a doner kebab last week. It was really good. Yeah, bro. The best kebab is like for me. Um, I think I just had like some chicken and like something. I can't even remember what it. It was just some meat in there, but it was really good. Um, but yeah, let me see. Yeah, I can't lie. This look like it's actually this volume profile is a little bit outdated here. Let me draw it. Yeah, so I would say we kind of broke out of this range here. So it does sort of look. Don't get me wrong, it still looks pretty good high time frame for. I'm not gonna swing short this shit, like, but like scalp shorts, you know. That's fine with me. Yeah, so maybe like POC entry. This obviously this could be a little bit greedy, but something like this. Well, actually, I don't even think it would hit the 7.5. Wait, I want to remove this because this is a conditional. It's pretty conditional. I haven't thought out where would my inval be. Probably at that. Probably safe would be like here, but then these are also equal highs, so I don't know. Hard to say. I'll have to think about this one, but we'll see. It might not even come, so I'm not gonna like plan it out too hard. But it's just one idea I'm watching. If of course like Sol doesn't provide the entry, but I see a scalp like a good clean scalp short, like you know, a drop in open interest, like longs getting squeezed out and whatever, like an SFP of this week's high, then that's probably a short scalp that I'll take on Bitcoin, and I'll probably alert that. So yeah, like of course, like I would rather take this if it's looking weaker, but if it doesn't come, I'll just take the short on Bitcoin. But obviously, the short on Bitcoin would be like a TP that at like my entry, right? The limit entry that I have, or that I'm thinking about. So yeah, let me drop this Sol idea in chat. Obviously, need to wait for the entry first, and then see what Bitcoin is doing then. But Sol to me still looks like where it's at. You know, I don't see the point in really swing short now. I think the swing short is fucking gone on this, right? It's already down 70%. Although, you know, I'd rather short Ethereum because if I'm going to take a swing short, if I think price will, if I think the markets are going to make another low, I'm probably going to take Ethereum over Bitcoin and Sol because Sol's actually got something going on for it, right? Like, you know, with the whole Ansem and, you know, like they're reviving the trenches, right? But Ethereum, right? It's not really going anything fucking going. The only thing that's really keeping Ethereum alive is Tom Lee buying. But I think that fucker could capitulate. So if I'm gonna swing short anything, it's gonna be Ethereum. But yeah, anyways, yeah, like this, you said here, Sol on high time frame just did reclaim major level. This kind of looks like a PO3, right? Sort of. I don't know, sometimes PO3s are really hard to play. Like, it's like, can you justify this as a range? I think so. I would actually probably say this was more of a range here, right? Obviously. Then you had like the level here. Wait, this is the worst chart to draw on just because I've got so much shit drawn on here. But essentially, the idea is this is a manipulation, right? And then a lot of people, like smart players, brought here, and then they're holding for like crazy, something fucking ridiculous, like like $78 to like I don't know, like 250. What is that? 3, 4, 5x return. I mean, that's pretty good risk to reward. I saw someone on X say like, what's the point in buying Bitcoin? And like 50, 40K when you can just buy like an altcoin and make like double the returns. And I was kind of thinking, I was like, I mean, yeah, he's not. I guess he's not wrong, right? But at the same time, alts have like you can hold Bitcoin for like 3, 4 years and then sell again, because like continuous like it will make like obviously high highs and high lows. But with alts, like in 2024, that was alts like Jesus Christ. I don't know if you remember, but yeah, man, like so I remember Solana went like to 210 and it went back down to like $100. Then it went back to like 230, 250, then it nuked back down. And then it had another rally up on the Trump meme coin. So there's a lot of swings. I think there's more opportunity honestly with the alts because you can like play the range quite a few times, right, in a bull cycle. But it's different with Bitcoin. That's sort of just buy and hold. But with alts, you gotta sell a lot quicker, right? Fuck man, I miss buying SOL at $8. Oh, same. I wasn't even in crypto when SOL was at $8. So I had I knew what crypto was in 2021, but I just didn't really participate. I maybe had a couple, like $100 on an exchange, maybe crypto.com if I remember. But I didn't, I was retail, right? So yeah, I never. I mean, fuck knows. I probably would I have even brought $8 and held? That's pretty insane, though, right? Like, what is that? That's from $8. It's like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of returns. From like $8 to like 290 or 300, whatever it was. That's pretty insane. Yeah, I don't think we're I don't think we're seeing $8 again. But you know, we'll see. Did not act on it. Well, it is what it is. No, yeah, obviously you could say that about Bitcoin, right? We didn't buy Bitcoin at 2K, 1K, whatever. But yeah, this PO3 is interesting though. I don't know. We'll see, potential PO3, right? We don't know. Um, I don't usually trade these ideas, but like they are interesting. Like I think it does interestingly like line up a lot of times pretty well. It doesn't really like line up currently with Bitcoin because Bitcoin has not, you know, like Bitcoin looks it's still below the previous VAL, right? So like the accumulate oh sorry the I guess distribution zone was a little bit higher. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. Um, so yeah, I'll also cover UZT. I mainly like for my like low time frame buys plays. This is really just one of the main things I look at. So like when you're drawing out like demands and supply zones, like it gets really respected on UZT. So it's something that I didn't really like only notice. Like I'm talking about like the lower time frame, like 30 minute, like the zones, right? Um, yeah, it's only something I really only realized like last month. So sometimes there'll be a zone on like USDT where there's not even the inverse of that on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin will still respect that as if well, of course, like USDT is the inverse of it, but I'll give you an example. Actually, I don't know if it will take me quite a while to find one. Actually, it doesn't always happen, but you know, usually like the inverse. For example, this is a demand zone here, right? Um, because well, there's a separate one here, but I've drawn that from way before. But more locally, that this is like in of itself a demand zone because we had this big fat down candle. So that's obviously inverse on Bitcoin, which would be supply zone. Um, However, like on Bitcoin, I was looking at it right, and it's like, well, I don't want to short it yet, just because it's I'd be shorting like before we take out the equal highs. But if I was just looking at USDT, seeing that, wait, let me move this a little bit because I can actually draw it here. Yeah, if I mark out this, like if I just shorted Bitcoin when this hit like this demand zone here, I mean, here it worked out nicely, right? And then here potentially again. But I'm hoping this goes a little bit lower, right? I'm hoping we do get a sweep of the high, like I mentioned. Maybe a sweep of this low as well. So that'd be nice. I would much rather short after something like this. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, to me, like USDT here, like technically it had broken structure, but it had like already kind of done the move upwards. So by the time it was crashing down, I didn't really think to see anything else there. But anyways, I'll pop this in the chat. What indicator is that? What indicator is that? The one that says bull and bear. I think it's going down. Yeah. It looks like it's gonna go down. Higher time frame. I would definitely need it to go down if I want to keep if we want to get that like a ETH USDT target like 2.2k. I think that's the in silico. Am I wrong? Is that the in silico indicator? The bull and bear one. I remember I had that on my chart, but I don't know, I just got rid of it, but it looks interesting, yeah. Because it just like, what does it signal, like a potential trend change? Sorry, just a sec. No worries. I think I know what indicator it is. It's the in silico one. Yeah, I mean, I remember it just because, I mean, I've seen a couple of people use it before, but like I also had it, right? Um, God, TradingView's being a bitch. She's not loading copy screenshot, but it's not copying the screenshot. Like the command, really. Pretty annoying. Bitcoin Charlie with XO. Oh, okay. Oh, that's got it completely wrong. That was it. Bitcoin Charlie. I think I know that guy. Yeah. Oh, Trader XO. Trader XO. Right, no, I think I remember now. Yeah. No, that's right. I'm thinking of a completely different indicator. Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I think I have that. Yeah. Bitcoin Charlie, Trader XO, macro trend. Right. Yeah. It's useful. 100%. It's useful. Um. But yeah, let's see. I think that pretty much wraps it. Like we covered the main three. I'm not really looking at any other alts right now, just because I'm not seeing anything necessarily good, right? Um, Maybe Zcash, but I mean, I don't think my system works as well with it. Oh yeah, Hypeo, I'll check that out as well. Good shout. Hype. It's at 68. Um, I had a short idea, right? So that I was gonna alert, but I didn't set the limits last night, and I'm glad I didn't because it would have been stopped out, right? I'm very glad I didn't. But I mean, it did it like for me like locally it was looking. We had broken structure here, right? And also broken out the previous like. Let me zoom out. We had a range right here, right above us, and it looked like we had just broken out of it and formed another range. So I was thinking, if we're gonna have another leg lower, it's probably gonna be after we've after this sweep here and that breaker structure. But obviously it went a little higher than expected. But you know, I guess for hype I should really be doing like wider stops. But yeah, I mean, anyways, for me, we're not trading hype anymore. We're trading S&P 500. Oh, what? Does the S&P 500 pull back 10% in a day? That's crazy, bro. No, I'm joking. I know what you mean. If you zoom out, like this shit's barely giving a pullback, right? Yeah. Honestly, insane chart. I'd mark this level out here just because I think, honestly, sometimes I look at the hype chart and I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm a bit of an idiot for not buying at like 30, 40, but you know, then again, I can't remember the last time we had an alt that broke out during a bear market, but anyways, I do think in the near future we will get this daily retest, in which case I probably would long that with quite wide stops, like I quite wide stops, right? Yeah, okay, the way you've drawn it, let me see. So is that a triangle? Yeah, it does look really, oh, look, honestly, the way you've drawn it, it looks like a long right now. But I'm not gonna long here just because, I mean, I do have like a little bit of PRs lower, but I could potentially be one, right? I think Moro's long as well, so could make sense, right? If it just sends. I remember the last time he longed, well, swing longed, it was like, I think it was around the 20s or 30s, right? And he caught a pretty nice move. Um, but anyways, yeah, we'll see. I definitely listen at like coming from someone who's sidelined. Obviously, it's pretty obvious I have a bias for it to go a little bit lower, but of course, like I could also say like the opposite for anyone who's holding hype. But if we do get one more dip lower into the 40s, I was hoping, or even like 50s, I guess, low 50 here, I would love to load up there as well. What's Let me look at the H4 EMA. What is that doing? Mm-mm. Yeah, it's kind of just chilling above it right now. It like, I guess, well, here was consolidating around it, and then it had another big move up, and here another piece of consolidation here. So it seems to like to consolidate around the H4 200 EMA. If it does have one more leg lower and consolidates around here, oh, this is not the right tool, but okay. Like if it consolidates something like here, this area, I would love to like look for, you know, bullish ideas in this zone for like some scalps or even swings, I guess, right? I might long it stop 65. So like stops right below the H4 200 EMA, right? Yeah. That looks good. It's a clean inval. But obviously, to be honest, I don't know actually. It doesn't Pico respect. It can go, look, for example here, it kind of ran through the H4 200 EMA, right? And then it just bounced. So I don't know how clean of an inval that is. There are other cryptos that respect the H4 like pretty much like Pico perfect. This has me a little bit worried. If I was like long with stops right below here, like it could happen. Okay, obviously you do you, right? Like I'm not gonna stop you from taking a setup, but I would look for something like this, and then this is just me personally. Obviously you can play it like how you want. Yeah, we'll see. I might just not get it, but I was hoping to get it right with the short scenario that I had. So yeah.